morning.
Okay, good morning, and yes, welcome to Galaxy today. My name is Rose Blossom, and we will be talking about minimum wages. Of course, we have the minimum wages from 18,000 naira now to 30,000, and of course, Buhari said that would help Nigerian workers when it comes to the Nigerian economy. And talking on that, we have a special guest today with us. Let's welcome, of course, Lucky
Ighoyota.
sorry, Ighoyota.
Yeah, Ighoyota.
Ighoyota, Lucky. Okay, the PRO of Take It Back movement. Yes. Okay, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks for joining us now. Ighoyota, let's look at this particular issue because from what we hear, the presidency is saying that it has not actually approved the 30,000, it only accepted the 30,000 proposal. I want to get your reactions concerning that.
Yes, let me, first of all, thank you for having me. I want to, first of all, sympathize with the Nigerian workforce.
Sympathize?
I'm sympathizing with the Nigerian Labour Congress.
Why are you sympathizing?
I'm sympathizing with them because at this age and time, we are still discussing a salary wage around 30,000 naira. For a country that prides itself like as the giant of Africa, the world's most populous black nation with enormous potentials to turn Africa around. We are still, so we are trying to get a minimum wage of that is even less than $100. The president's statement saying he accepted the decision of the workers to push for a 30,000 minimum wage goes to show his deceitful tendencies.
How do you mean deceitful tendency?
The president, as you know, has always been a go-slow kind of person. The workers, before the tripartite committee was set up last November, were demanding for something around 56,000. If you would remember, last year, Ms. Ama Pepo chaired a committee, as you recall, that actually midwifed the entire negotiations, and they did their report and submitted to him last week. Yesterday, I heard Ms. Ama Pepo in one of the sister stations doing an interview saying that she believes and she hopes that the president will implement the 30,000 naira minimum wage. That is to show that they are still not even sure if it is doable. Now, for us in TIB, we are telling the Nigerian workers that our government, if elected next year, we offer the Nigerian workers nothing less than 100,000 naira.
Looking at 100,000 naira and its feasibility and all of that, right now, the state governments across the country are actually complaining they've not been able to pay 18,000 naira. Even the 30,000 naira, there were some back and forth before this eventual agreement that was announced on Monday night. But the thing is, right now, if the center will, maybe just in case you guys get into office.
Not in case, we'll get into office.
Okay, but the thing is that how would it spread across board for the states?
Okay. You see, part of the reasons why young people like myself and Omoyele Shogore are into this is because the set of leaders that we have now, they appear to be incompetent. They appear to be competent in the sense that at this age and time, we are still largely dependent on just one source of revenue, that's oil, as you know. Talking about how the minimum wage will be carried out by states, our government is bringing to the fore modern materials. That is, Nigerians that are modern, that are in tune with global trends, a 21st century kind of leadership, whereby a leader will sit and think outside the box. Today, as I talk with you here now, the number of the Nigerian elites that are doing their businesses across the country, they have been evading tax, Nigeria is not a tax-efficient nation will mop up all the taxes in this country. All the value taxes will be mopped up into the federal purse. And states also will follow suit because our manifesto...
Oh, we can't start talking about manifestos here, but look, let's really talk about the main issues right now.
Okay.
You talked about internally generated revenue and mono economy, which is the bane of past administration, or just being solely on oil. How do you think the state governments can actually key into this issue of generating funds for themselves so they don't even go cap in hand at the end of the month to the Federal Executive Council, the FAC rather, to get,
Someone called a kind of federalism, a filibuster federalism some time ago, and I share in that person's thought as well. You see, what we are having now is just a situation whereby the governor just waits till the end of the month. Everybody flies to Abuja to collect their monthly handouts from the federal post as FAC. Now, what our government is planning, our party as a party, our movement as a movement that is coming to rescue Nigeria out of this morass, we are setting an agenda to block all these leakages you are seeing everywhere. It will amaze you to know that every year we have between $5 and $6 billion of Nigeria's money being moved away by these corrupt government officials. And as soon as we get into government, we are going to block those outlets. Okay. As soon as we block them, that money alone amounts to about 2 trillion, 2.1 trillion in short, 2 trillion naira. Today, Nigeria's budget as of today is about 8 trillion plus. That's about 25%. The 2 trillion that I'm telling you now is about 25% of Nigeria's budget as of today. If we have 2 trillion naira blocked, is that not enough to service
enough. Okay.
the wage bill?
Okay, coming from another angle now, we have a lot of people saying having to have minimum wage to be 30,000 naira.
Okay.
There will be inflation of food prices.
Wage inflation, my sister. Listen, let me tell you. Since they started stealing our country, since 1958 till now, have there been inflation? Have people been surviving? This money that they are stealing, will use it to put in workers' pockets. They will spend it on the economy legitimately. Okay. The monies are not actually yielding economic growth and amounting to economic development because it is wrong, it is on the wrong hands. These guys know nothing. Before 1999, most of them were virtually beggars. They were all paupers. They were living in one bedroom. Some of them don't even have house. They don't know how to do business. They will steal government money and put it in hotels. Take it to the Caribbean, take it to the US, take it to the UK and other parts of Asia to put there. These monies will put into Nigeria's workers' pocket. They will spend the money here in Nigeria. It will buffer our economy.
Okay.
So forget that inflation. That inflation thing doesn't exist anywhere.
Okay, well...
It is doable.
Well, it's very doable, but I have a lot of people saying that, and they are still banking on the fact that, for the fact they have raised it from 18 to 30, there is a very high probability
that some states may not be able to pay, right?
Yes, exactly.
But the same states that are not going to, that may not be able to pay, right, are still having a large army of political aides, like in Delta State. Governor Kowa have over 2,300 political aides. Okay. If you pay those aides, say a minimum of 200,000 naira per month or 250 per se, that will amount to over $500 million. Okay. If you pump $500 million into the educational sector of Delta State or the health sector, it's every month we put in 500 million. 500 million naira every month just into this health sector or the educational, one primary school. Don't you know what that will affect to?
It will amount to... Okay, no, we'll take a quick break. We're still looking at the 30,000 naira minimum wage and all of the issues plus the reactions trailing that development. We still have Mr. Lucky Ighoyota with us here in the studios. We'll be right back after this quick time, and don't go away.
But it's not campaign now.
All right, welcome back. It's still Galaxy today, and we're looking at the 30,000 Naira minimum wage and all of the issues. Okay, you talked about this increment not leading to inflation, but the thing is that a lot of people are saying that it might, because once a lot of money is in the pocket of workers, inadvertently the price of goods and services, even the traders in the market will know that there's so much money to spend, and that even people in the education sector, private schools and everything, I've heard reactions. They say that it's now time for them to increase school fees.
Before this increment, school fees have been increased. Before this wage increment, commodity prices are high. If you take a look at the statistics in the last 2-3 months, you see that the inflation rate has jacked up because nothing is happening in government. Our government will be run on 2 things.
Which is?
Reputation and credibility.
Okay.
I that is talking to you here, the PR of Take It Back, if I'm found one thing, I'll be in jail in our government. That's the kind of government we want to run. Look, let me tell you, this issue of inflation, increased salary to lead to inflation, is because nothing is happening in the country. There's no economic activity, no construction, nothing. Our government, we ignite our power sector. Our infrastructure that is in comatose now, we'll revamp the system as soon as there's construction. In the country, you see jobs everywhere, and as soon as there is job, all of this will amount to economic growth, economic buoyancy, and it is doable. 100,000 is even the minimum we can even pay, the minimum. That is, if our government, after the first 4 years, by the time we are done with our first set of plan for this country in 4 years, you even join Nigerians to say that 100,000 is not even good enough.
100,000 now, you say, might not be good enough, but looking at this right now, a lot of people are saying that minimum wage, no minimum wage, at the end of the day, it only favors some groups of people. How, in your opinion, looking at it holistically, how do you think it will actually affect the common man who has a shop and who has 2 workers working for him, maybe a hairdresser who employs 2 stylists, how would all of this reflect to them? Because everybody's talking about minimum, but to them, they don't really understand how it actually concerns them.
If I ask you now, how many Nigerians of working age are in the public service? How many Nigeria? It's few, they're few, very minimal. Society all over the world is not driven, or economies all over the world is not just driven by a civil service structure. Why are we reducing our national discourse and national economy to just civil service or salaries of civil servants? So some persons, we should be discussing artisans. These guys contributing to the productivity in the country. Civil servants are just a unit of the working population. The minimum wage we are talking about here, the minimum wage, 30,000 or 18,000 as it were, is not even enough for the lunch of some of all these government officials.
So that means you're saying that the 30,000 increment...
It will make no difference in the system. It will make no difference.
Okay, let us take some reactions right now. The proposal by the AAC to pay Nigerian workers a minimum wage of 100,000 is welcome. Many workers are 100% in support. All right, it's a nice thing to have increment of salaries, but have we thought of the effect on inflation and the bills that have to come with it?
And that's what I've been telling you.
To pay.
I've been telling you, the hazards associated with it will be shaked when the economy infrastructure are put in place, things are working fine, there's accountability, there's probity in government, there's transparency. All these things are happening because we don't have a system. We want to come and organize the system. When the system is working, you will even agree with me. I've told you before that the Nigerian workers will even say 100,000 is even just too small.
Okay, fine.
How much do you think some countries are paying for labor for just 1 hour? 1 hour. I was told last week that in the UK, they're even proposing to be paying £10 per hour. If you work 8 hours, a day, that will amount to about 80 pounds.
80 pounds.
How much is the 100 pounds now? It's not 50,000? 500 per pound. 50,000. If you work 50,000 a day, compare your status with somebody living in Nigeria. Okay. Can you compare the disparity?
Okay.
So what is 100,000?
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Lucky. But good morning. If government can implement minimum wage, the same government should monitor the inflation of food prices, transportation, house rent, and school fees. You're talking about infrastructure. You've mentioned
we have a housing policy for Nigerians.
All right, more reactions. The APC and PDP have nothing good for Nigerians.
Yes,
if the PDP say they have reopened it, it's a lie. Okay, just send SMSs if you want to participate. The government should cut cost of their expenses. And,
they are bogus expenses. They should cut them down.
All right.
How will one person be moving with 10 cars? Waste. All those are which will block all those wastages.
All right, Lucky, we have to go because we are pressed of time. But once again, let us talk on the final note right now.
Okay.
In your opinion, what is the ideal minimum wage for the Nigerian worker?
The ideal minimum wage for the Nigerian worker, the least they should be collected as at today should be that 100,000 naira.
All right, we'll leave it at that. We must say a very big thank you to you. We've been speaking to Ighoyota Lucky. He's the PRO TakeItBack movement. Many thanks for joining us and being a part of this discussion.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so in a moment when we return, we'll be looking at the 30,000 naira minimum wage or 100,000 naira as proposed by the AAC. In a moment when we return, we'll be looking at drug abuse and addiction. A whole lot of Nigerian youths have actually fallen prey to this issue of drug abuse. How do we stem these issues in the bud, and how do we begin to make our youth know that they can channel their energies to positivity and not to societal vices? In a moment, we have a guest who will be treating that when we return to join us again.
If anybody give you banana, sky, if sugar daddy give you cocaine, run.